Riviera by Buick. A great and rare machine that a woman can admire and enjoy to the fullest, but only a man can really understand.
In the 1960s and 70s, Buick Rivieras were GM's answer to Ford Thunderbirds in the personal luxury market. Its sales were steadily rising throughout its first 7 years until 1971, when an abrupt style change turned even diehard fans off, sending sales plummeting. This is the story of the Buick Riviera, 1963 through 1976. The Buick Riviera was introduced on October 4th, 1962 as a 63 model, unusual for a GM product. With its razor-edge roof, rear deck, and sides, aggressive front end with an expansive egg crate grille and pontoon fenders, it made it one of the greatest styling accomplishments of the mid-century.
What does it take to be a Buick? It takes a car that makes every mile an adventure.
The Buick Riviera continued for 1964 with minimal trim changes. Leather upholstery was discontinued from the options list and the stylized R emblem was used for the first time. Changes to the 1965 model included concealing the headlamps behind clamshell doors in the edges of each fender. In addition, the side scoops between the doors and rear wheel arches were removed, and the taillights were moved from the body into the rear bumper.
1966 Buick Riviera, from the sunny slopes of exotic Flint, Michigan.
In the 1966 model year, the Buick Riviera was significantly redesigned, and its sales set a new record. The body frame was made longer, wider, and more curvaceous. It no longer bore vent windows, a holdover feature from the 1930s. Headlamps remained concealed, but they now pivoted up above the grille when not in use, a very futuristic flourish. Rear seatbelts were optional, as was the AM/FM radio. Inside, the four-place cabin was replaced by a choice of bucket seats or conventional bench seats, making room for 6 passengers. The most significant change for 1967 was Buick's new V8 engine with 364 horsepower, which carried a significant improvement in performance. Externally, very little changed except for the addition of a wide, full-width center-mounted horizontal chrome grille bar that stretched over the headlight and doors and outboard parking lights. Hey, let's give away some free t-shirts, Boker Brother t-shirts let's do the first 3 people who can find our logo that you see right here on our screen or your screen. It's Find the Hidden Logo. First 3 that can tell us the minute and second of the video where you see the Boker Brothers hidden logo, and you win. Email us at the email address you see on your screen. First 3 people, it's Find the Hidden Logo. Now back to the video. For the 1968 model year, the Buick Riviera sported reshaped front and rear loop-type bumpers that wrapped around the grille and tail lamps. The interior was restyled again, and shoulder belts for front window passengers were made standard on all cars. The 1969 Rivieras had minor styling changes, including a redesigned grille and a revised chrome side trim. Shorter front marker lights became square in shape. Inside, the new headsets adorned the front window seats and the position of the ignition switch was moved. At the rear, the reverse lights were moved from the rear bumper into the 69 Riviera's new 3-section tail light lenses. Sales for the 1969 Riviera set a new record. However, this trend was soon to change. The 1970s Riviera was restyled completely. Quad headlamps were exposed and nearly flush mounted. The front bumper wrapped around and over the new vertical bar grille set between the headlamp pods. An optional side trim feature accented the body's flowing lines. Rear wheels were skirted, and the new rear bumper and taillights were given a new motif. The engine was upgraded to the largest Buick had ever offered to date. Sales for the 1970 Buick Riviera dropped significantly.
It can significantly help cut exhaust emissions that pollute the air. It's not the whole answer to air pollution, but it's a start. Help us fight pollution now while we look for better answers. 1971 Buick.
The Riviera was radically designed for the 1971 model year. Given a flowing and dramatic boat tail styling, which was a very popular style in the cars and speedboats of the 1920s and 30s, it changed the look of the car so much that sales plummeted. The 455 engine had a lower compression ratio to meet EPA emissions requirements and a reduced 255 horsepower. The 1971 Riviera also featured GM's full-flow ventilation system with two large deck lid louvers on the trunk lid. The system created an unfortunate vacuum effect under certain conditions that sucked rain and exhaust back into the car.
If I were going to build a sporty, personal, luxury-type car, I'd do a lot of copying from this Riviera. From a styling standpoint, it's clean, original. When you spot it on the road, you don't associate it with any other car.
The 1972 Riviera received a new egg crate grille, more substantial front bumpers to prepare for the 5-mile-per-hour impact requirement, restyled taillight trim, and the louvers were removed from the trunk lid. The 1972 Riviera also featured a redesigned ventilation system, and the 455 engine switched to net power ratings of 225 horsepower or 250 horsepower in the Grand Sport, although the actual drop in net power was only 5 horsepower. Sales remained stagnant at 33,728 units, a drop of 82 from the prior year.
There it is. America's dream car. The one-of-a-kind Buick Riviera. Of course you'd like to give yourself that luxury, but you might be telling yourself, I've got to be practical.
For 1973, the Riviera underwent a number of changes. The front bumper was redesigned to be thicker and featured bumper guards as standard in order to meet the 1974 impact bumper standards. The grille was switched back to horizontal slats and the front lamps were moved from the bumper and were now integrated into the headlights, wrapping around the corners of the car. Sluggish sales of the third-generation Riviera led GM to believe that the boat-tail deck lid was too radical for most customers' tastes. So in 1973, it was blunted and made slightly shorter.
Buick has thought about performance in terms of what you need today. Sure, they have style and luxury and comfort, but they have so much more that you'll find obvious on your first test drive.
1974 brought in the fourth-generation Buick Riviera.
The 1974 Buick.
Replaced with its distinctive boat-tail roofline with a more conventional-looking colonnade treatment which was more in line with its LeSabre and Electra cousins. This turned the car from a hardtop coupe into a pillared coupe, as it featured wide B-pillars and fixed-quarter opera windows. A Landau half-vinyl roof option was available. The car did retain its forward jutting grille, albeit a slightly modified form.
The 1975 Riviera maintains its originality and individuality. Note the smooth harmony between the dynamic new Riviera front end and the clean crispness of the rear.
For 1975, the Riviera received an updated front fascia, which lost its forward jutting theme through the redesign of the fiberglass front end cap. Quad rectangular headlights were mounted horizontally. The new vertical bar grille echoed the stand-up theme that many GM cars of the day incorporated. Parking lights were wrapped around the fender sides. The Stage 1 Performance Package was dropped for $75, though the Grand Sports Handling Package would continue to be offered. The standard engine's output dipped to 205 horsepower. Minor changes greeted the 1976 models, the most notable of which was a new cross-hatch grille insert. The Grand Sports Handling Package was replaced by an SR package that had similar sporting pretensions. Sales rallied slightly to 20,082 for 1976. Hey, well, that about wraps it up for the 1963 through 1976 Buick Riviera. Hey, stay tuned for our other series of the Buick Riviera. It's coming soon. And hey, leave us your comments. Which model year was your favorite in the Buick Riviera line? I gotta say, 1965 was probably my favorite of all the model years. 65. Hey, thanks to all of our subscribers for supporting our channel. If you're not a subscriber, we'd appreciate the help. Subscribe, like, and hit that bell for future notifications. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. This is Michael J. Thanks for watching.